Welcome to the best outdoors program just off the shores of the mighty Red River. It's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show, the heart and soul of all things related to God's great outdoors. Starring Gary McCoy, an all-around outdoorsman with a CMA Award for Best Personality in Radio. A man who excels in the radio world and needs no introduction to the outdoors, whether standing tall in the winner's circle or sitting low in the deer stand. Mike Eccles, the boss tournament trail director and outstanding duck hunting guide with a wealth of outdoors knowledge who's not afraid to give his opinion with or without the facts. His years of bass tournament experience ensures that rules are followed and anglers are kept in check. And last but not least, Daiwa and Ranger Pro Steve Graff, a member of the Northwestern State University Hall of Fame with years of bass tournament experience who continues his pursuit of a double-digit bass and championship stringers. So let's jump on the front deck and make that first cast with the legendary minds of the great outdoors. Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the one and only Steve Graff. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. It is Gary McCoy along with the old Ranger Daiwa Pro staffer, Steve Graff. He's going to run microphoneless.
Yeah, I got to run my mic.
Best he'll ever sound.
I'm telling you.
And the old mud hen Mike Eccles in the house. And Jay's trimmed his beard.
Yeah.
Did y'all notice that?
Yeah. You got one of those new groomers?
Yeah.
I have an old one that hurts every time I use it.
He looks like he did it with a Flowbee.
Yeah. I let a cat lick it off.
Man.
We are hooking up.
You know, that'll feel a lot better if you... never mind.
Yeah.
The opening segment of today's show brought to you by Steve Nichols, Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters, Despino Jim South Tire, and Lake Fork Guide Johnny Geis. To book your next fishing adventure, contact Lake Fork Guide Johnny Geis or go to lakeforkbigfish.com. And today's show, boy, this is going to be huge, guys.
Yeah, we got a big show today, a good show today.
We're going to talk everything from retail sales and online tackle sales.
Exactly.
And how those two coexist and the importance. P.D. Vincent is coming back in. We've had winners.
We got some more. Yeah.
More winners on Sam Rayburn.
Yep.
And that means that, tomorrow being the 1st of February, we're a month away from Toledo. Doesn't it start March 1?
Let's see here. Yes, March 1st through June 30th.
See?
Yeah.
Am I good? No.
You are correct.
Wait a minute. March 1, no, that would be Fork. Fork starts March 1.
Oh, yeah. Toledo's May 1st through September 3rd.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. See, I was wrong. And
You
I
are wrong.
knew I was wrong.
Wow.
But you didn't even know I was wrong.
You self-corrected yourself.
Casey Ashley is going to be on the show. Straight up 12 noon today.
Yep.
He knows a little bit about Hartwell.
Just a little. He won the Classic there in 2015, so we'll see what Casey. We'll see if the lake's going to set up similar to what it did for him in 2015.
You think he can win again?
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah. What about how much?
No.
I was going to ask you how much
because it's a month later.
Yeah, it could be. It may be a different game.
Fish aren't going to be grouped up quite as much. Fish are going to be fanned out. As far as.
But still, local knowledge goes a long way.
Hank Weldon is going to be on the show.
Hank Weldon. Yep.
And if you don't know, Hank's dad, Tripp, has been the Bassmaster Weighmaster for 118 years.
Yeah.
Longer than Eccles has been alive.
Exactly.
And
about 2 years.
Yeah. And but Hank is going to be on, and he is the Weighmaster, the head of the college.
BAS's college series.
And we've got some real pointed questions we want to talk to him. Yeah. Number of injuries lately with some anglers on different lakes, cancellations, things of that nature, and we want to know, what goes into those decisions, because
and we've got another tournament director right here that can add a lot.
Have you ever canceled a boss tournament?
I've never canceled. I relocated one.
Last minute?
No, it was like on the river. River got high.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
we never had fog delay. Releasing anglers late.
But see, all of ours are trailer tournaments, and I think that's a total different ball game.
It is a total different ball game
than when you're launching everybody from one spot.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they have those considerations to make. And Daryl Gleason is going to be on the show. He is a Toledo Bend guide and V&M pro, and he's got a Toledo Bend report for us, which will be cool because we start Boss this Saturday, but our next stop in the Boss circuit is going to be March 3rd on Toledo Bend. So, a lot of guys are going to be focused on turning into that page.
And that lake is fishing totally different than, especially like when me and you have fished it in the past. There's no fish in the bushes, no water in the bushes.
Yeah.
So
what are we thinking about this weekend? Big tournament?
I think we're going to have a really good turnout. I really do. We've got generated a lot of interest down in the Black Lake area. I just took another call from somebody down there that has not fished the circuit before. So,
Wow.
make sure you polygraph those guys, Mike.
Oh, I will. Every one of them. Cole Garrett first.
Oh, yeah. Cody Martin. Yeah, I know those guys.
No.
Trey Morgan.
I think we're going to have a big turnout.
That's awesome.
We'll have a lot of the local guys down there get in hopes that it's drawn for the championship.
Yeah.
That's what we do at the first tournament. We select through a drawing.
And that's only fair.
Yeah.
Now, that's in June? The
It's
championship?
in June,
Yeah.
first weekend in June. Yeah, I think second and third, or third and fourth, or something like that.
By June, what will the Salvinia look like on Black Lake?
I don't think it's going to be as bad this year because we're still getting cold weather.
Okay.
And I think it's going to really knock a dent in the Salvinia this year.
Oh, good.
So I feel good about it. I really do.
Okay, you've got some special tips for us that we're going to share throughout the show today.
Yeah, we're going to set this up. Each segment, as Gary just said, we're going to talk. I'm going to give you some tips, women, today. This show is for you today. If you want to know how to treat your hunter or fisherman at your house, this show is for you. You need to listen every segment. We're going to give you a tip on how to treat your man or your husband that hunts or fishes. Number one, here's the first.
Whoa, stop.
Okay.
Before you get yourself in trouble. Tips on how to treat your man from the 1950s.
Yeah, exactly. This is
not.
But it needs to be applied today.
I think it works today. It's kind of like the Bible. The Bible
it needs to be
was just
applied
as
to
good
today.
then
Okay,
as-
yeah.
I'm trying to.
I want to go on record as saying that Mike Eccles does not stand behind these.
Wait a minute. He's the only one of the three of us
Exactly.
that-
They even fished in the 50s.
when you read the Bible today, it's the same Bible today it was 2,000 years ago.
Exactly.
Okay. When this is over, we're going to see who's the
Julie
least.
McCoy, pay attention.
Yeah, share
There
graph.
is a test.
Let me see
Listen up.
who's eating grilled cheese sandwiches tonight.
Charlotte, this is for you.
Yeah.
All right. Number one, have dinner ready. Plan ahead, even the night before, to have a delicious meal ready on time when he comes home. This is your way of letting him know that you have been thinking about him all day and are concerned about his needs. Men are hungry after a long day in the woods or on the water, and the prospects of a good meal are part of the warm welcome he needs.
Do you have a problem with that there, Mike?
No, well, first off, have dinner ready. That requires a woman being able to cook.
Charlotte, that's Mike said that.
Hey, you know what Mike told me? He says the only reason why we got a stove in the house is it was here when we bought it.
It's the only clock we have in the kitchen.
Okay, we'll have more of those tips throughout
Yeah,
the show.
we got some
so,
great
ladies,
ones.
keep your pen and pad handy.
Yes.
Because you're going to want to write these down because we know, how important he is in your world.
Might want to record them.
Hey, you know what? It'll be on the archives on the show.
We're going to have it on our archives.
If you want to go back and refresh yourself later.
We'll have them listed.
And men, if you like these tips, you can wake your women up Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, and they can listen to it again on the show.
There you go.
Because she wants to get up and listen.
Exactly.
Okay, we got Boss this weekend.
Yeah.
We've got a lake that, for all intents, was essentially written off. Back in the fall. I mean, I remember Graff and I rode over there. What was it, last year? September, August, somewhere along.
August or September, early.
It was nearly unnavigable.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
I mean, you could not have gone north of the bridge.
We couldn't get to the bridge. Remember?
No,
we couldn't even get to the bridge.
It was that bad. Do you think that when you see this, do you think that those fish probably went unmolested for so long that we're going to see possibly one of the best fishing days for local anglers that are competing? Or do you think, hey, it's February, there's going to be somebody that catches a big sack, but I don't know that the presence of the Salvinia is going to have any bearing on that.
I would venture to say that it's going to take, no doubt it'll take 20 pounds plus.
Yeah.
And I would guess maybe 22.
Mm-hmm. To win?
Yeah, to win. But I would also guess that it is probably going to take 16 pounds to get in the top 20.
Wow.
Yep.
which is strong.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Almost everybody that I talked to that fished this weekend had between 15 and 16 and a half pounds.
Wow.
Complained about the lack of big fish.
Yeah.
But, they're just starting to bite.
Okay.
Yeah, they really are.
So,
well, and the weather this week, a little bit of warm weather today,
Yep.
tomorrow. Now, for Saturday, it's going to be kind of cool. And we do have a real good chance. I want to say it was 90% chance that the rain's going to come in Saturday afternoon.
Right.
So, there's going to be clouds present and things of that nature. But, for all, the anglers involved in this, it's kind of setting itself up for the water to be on the warm a little bit. It was the first 53-degree water I've seen all year.
A good friend of mine who is a great angler from Houston, Dickie Newberry. A lot of the guys know who Dickie Newberry is, a legend on Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn. He made a comment that I thought was very profound. He said, guys, you got to remember, we are fishing for fish that are in that age bracket. They've never been in water this cold their entire lifetime. And I thought that was pretty.
You know what?
That is very profound. I'm
You
like,
think about
he's
that.
right.
what?
A 3-year-old bass.
Yeah, he's never been in water this cold.
That water's never been that cold
No,
before.
not even close.
I fished a lot of tournaments in my career. I have never fished, most of it's been right here.
Right.
But I've never fished in 38-degree water before, and I was on Caddo Lake
Yeah.
in 38.8-degree water. That's the coldest water I've ever fished,
Yeah, he said these fish don't know what to do. They don't know how to react right now.
which is a really good point. I never thought about
Yeah,
that.
he was right.
I,
So,
I don't think that they may have never been in water that cold, but I don't think they're having a hard time figuring out how to react. A bass is a cold-blooded creature. His body temperature is exactly the same as the water temperature, which controls his metabolism.
yeah.
His body temperature.
So his metabolism has slowed
Completely.
that much down.
Yes,
And-
but all it does is he just slows down. I don't think he's out there freaking out, cutting firewood.
But when you
Well,
think
but
about
he's
it,
not feeding.
that
No,
water,
absolutely not.
But that water in the bottom, say 20% of the lake, maybe in the 50s, because that's where the warmer water is in the
Not
bottom.
in these shallow water lakes. You're not going to see that kind of a
But I'm talking like
disparity.
Rayburn
Not
and Toledo
before-
Bend.
I'm talking about,
Yeah,
Caddo
like
Lake.
Caddo and Cross, no, you're probably not going to see that. Or Black Lake, probably.
Well, I'll tell you what you do. You just tell Jeff and Eddie, Jeff Pate and Eddie Shaw, who had two fish that weighed 12 pounds in a boat show tournament.
yeah.
That
Right.
the fish shut down.
All right, guys. Hey, the fish shut down, guys.
Yeah.
Just letting y'all know.
Quit catching them.
Yeah.
Especially for Saturday.
Y'all are
What's
disqualified
wrong
from
with
this
you, Jeff
weekend.
Pate? Trying to show off. Hey, we do have another tournament that I want to mention. Our good friend David Houston they're putting on the 7th annual McLeod Tabernacle Bass Tournament. It's going to be February 24th, Caddo Lake, Earl Williamson Park. They're in Oil City. $120 entry fee per team. You can fish by yourself or you can fish with a partner. $2,000 first place, $1,000 second, $500 for third, $10 big bass pot. He says they're launching that you can fish from safe light until 2:30. Now I don't know what he's qualifying as safe light. I don't know if that means 30 minutes before legal sunrise or what, but that's what he gave me. And I've tried to call him and I've tried to text him and I can't reach him. But safe light until 2:30. You got to be in the weigh-in line at Earl Williamson Park by 3 p.m. Now I am assuming that it's a launch anywhere kind of a tournament. You can call David. Good luck on this. Call David. 349-7855. 349-785. I've been calling him for 2 days. Can't get him. Texted him even.
Oh, okay. All right, real quick. The BFL last weekend on Sam Rayburn, the FLW event, was canceled. It has been rescheduled for Sunday, March the 4th, which is the day after our tournament number 3, which is on Saturday the 3rd. They're going to schedule back-to-back days to have the makeup tournament on Sunday, March the 4th. So all you BFL guys up here in Shreveport, I'm sure a lot of you, and in the Arklatex region here that listen to the show, a lot of you guys probably got the text like I did, but make sure you make your reservations to extend your day one more night at that event. So call your hotels and make sure you get your rooms, make sure they're still available. So, again, FLW BFL event for March the 4th has been rescheduled as a makeup tournament at Sam Rayburn. So, good luck to everybody.
Sit tight. With the popularity of online tackle sales, how important are traditional retail outlets for today's angler? It's the Groove Fish and Tackle question of the day. It's next. Hooking up and tracking down. 11:30, The Tiger.
The Hook It Up and Tracking Down show would like to thank you, our listeners, and these fine sponsors: Daiwa Rods and Reels, J&J Exterminating, V&M Baits, Commercial Power Equipment, and Toledo Town and Tackle. Stocking anything and everything a fisherman needs for a great day on Toledo Bend. And still the largest tackle box on the Bend. Here's Gary, Steve, and Mike with brand new shirts.
Damn. Yeah, we got some new shirts.
I gotta do.
We're going to show these off here in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, Spro Baits. If you have not tried Spro Lures, they've got a great assortment. Crankbaits, frogs, stick baits. Try the new Rock Crawler series of crankbaits and Mixed Stick series of jerk baits, all designed by Elite Series Pro and a guy we've had on this show several times, Mike McClellan. But they're also famous, and more famous than anything else, for the Bronze Eye Frog. So check them out. It's a great product. You can get any of these at Kurt Carver's Toledo Town and Tackle, Bayou Outdoor Super Center, Cypress Knee Outdoors, any one of those. Also Nichols Department Stores, any one of those four will carry this Spro product and all the Spro lineup. So check them out. All Spro lures are also made with the world famous Gamakatsu hooks. Go to spro.com to learn more.
I want to get everybody, if you will, just a quick prayer as you're moving about today. Our buddy Eddie Morgan, that competes in the Boss Tournament Trail. His dad not doing real good. Fell and broke his hip. He's 86 years old and in the hospital. And while that's a bad enough of a thing for an 86-year-old to break a hip, it was kind of a good thing in that they discovered that he had a big mass. It looked like there was cancer in there. So it was kind of good that he went to the hospital for that, because they did discover the other, and hopefully that'll all get treated. But Eddie, we want you to know he's down on Black Lake practicing right now. But I want you to know that we're thinking about your daddy.
I thought it was dead water.
No.
Mike, you don't have dead water?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just for Eddie.
Just for Eddie. Yeah.
Eddie, what are you doing practicing, dude? Hey, we got tips for you all this morning. Tips on how the women of the 1950s looked after their husbands who hunted or fished. Today's women could learn a lot from this. You know why the divorce rate?
It's going to be even higher after
women
today.
have forgotten.
How to treat their man.
That's right. Prepare yourself, ladies. Take 15 minutes to rest so that you'll be refreshed when he gets back home. Touch up your makeup, put a ribbon in your hair, and be fresh looking. We don't want to see our little hobbit with her flip-flops on and her hair pulled back and, stuff all over. He's been in the outdoors among wild animals and maybe a little weary, but he'll be pleased to see you looking so hot just for him.
That's a great tip.
Golly.
Y'all have lost y'all's mind.
P.D. Vincent over there going, my wife is leaving me. I don't want y'all don't bring me into this. I don't. Okay, it's your Groove Fishing Tackle question of the day. Check out Groove GRUV Fishing.com for the latest innovation in tackle storage. With the popularity of online tackle sales, how important are traditional retail outlets for today's angler?
But so many directions you can go with this.
Okay, think about yourself. And this show, what did we just promote for Groove? We didn't promote where you could go buy it in a retail outlet.
Right.
We promoted GRUVFishing.com, GrooveFishing.com. And I think that there's a time and a place for everything. I mean, if it's, like terminal tackle or, accessories, things of that nature, I think that, everybody at some point that fishes competitively is going to make some pretty big purchases online.
Yeah. But are online sales enough to possibly run
I don't
the mom and pops out of business?
I don't think the fishing industry could survive without the mom and pops. If the mom and pops can weather the storm, because they're never going to be able to compete on price. If I own a mom and pop tackle store right now, I would be the Circle K. You would pay for the convenience of the fact that it's right here on the water, or it's right here and you put your hands on it right now, because there's no way you can compete at the online price with a retail outlet.
Right.
And so I wouldn't be scared to charge 300-400% markup on it. And that way, if I can buy a rattle trap online for $5.95, in my store it might be $13.95.
Right.
But if you want it, here it is, and I got it.
Right. And we all know how fishermen are.
Oh God,
There ain't nothing worse than fishermen.
boy, $13.95. That must be a dang good rattle trap.
Yeah, I gotta have that.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, I'm a spontaneous buyer.
Yeah.
Probably 90% of the vehicles I bought in my life, I bought within 1 hour
Yeah.
of deciding I was going to buy a vehicle.
Same here.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I just go someplace and tell them this is what
If
I
you
want.
like it, you'll buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm not a shopper. I'm not a big bargainer.
Right.
So I have had my tackle purchases online. 99% of that has been somebody buying it for me.
Really?
You know, Joey Hood right now is fixing to order some jigs.
Yeah.
And they're a jig. I don't even know what they're called. But I saw them last year, and I liked them, so I told him whatever he ordered, order me that much.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'll probably get about $500 worth of jigs. No, but as far as me doing it, I don't do it.
Yeah.
I want something. I want to go get it, and I want it right then. For the people that do buy online, hats off to you. To the people that walk into a store and pick something up and say, $7? Huh, I can get it online for $5.99. Kiss my butt. That's the rudest thing in the world you can do.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I have never, and I repeat this, I have never walked in the store. I don't know if I've ever looked at a price.
Oh, I look at the price every
I don't
time.
look at the price. If
But
I'm at a
not
tournament
gonna
and I
complain
need
about
that, if I'm at a tournament and I need that,
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, I look at the price
I don't
because
care.
I think
I'm not looking at the price.
I think
I don't
anything
grabs money.
anything to do with hunting and fishing is overpriced.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
it
so I
is.
look at
But-
it. And it's like you said earlier, though, if you're at a lake and they got a great tackle store, you're
Right.
paying for convenience. It's
Exactly.
right there.
That's my whole point.
right
That's
there.
what I think. I think that the local retail outlets are an intricate part of that big puzzle.
Right.
Because not only is it a gathering place for all the local anglers, but for buyers like Mike, who are spontaneous, poor planners,
Goofballs.
then that's what it's there for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, if you showed up at the lake and, oh my God, I don't have a fishing pole.
Yeah. Or I don't have my
Now,
Carolina.
you know what? That's another thing. I think it depends on what you're buying, too. That's
Oh,
why I
there's no
said
doubt.
online. You know, with a rod and reel, I'm
Yeah.
not buying a rod and reel online.
It's
like blue jeans.
Yes, you will. Yes,
I'm
you will.
not-
Yes,
no,
you.
I'm
No,
not.
no. Listen to me. Listen to me. You go out there and you find a reel, a loose something,
Yeah,
and you like it.
yeah.
Yeah. Then you might.
Yeah,
Then you might.
yeah.
This I've got one.
Yeah.
I want another one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can
Good
save
point.
money, but
Yeah.
yes, you can.
But
Yeah.
a new brand, you
Absolutely
probably
not.
wouldn't touch.
Right.
Absolutely not.
It's like blue jeans, though. I'm not buying blue jeans online. I'm going to put those suckers on because I've had the
Yep.
same pair,
Yep.
you know, two pairs the same size. One fit, the other one didn't.
Yeah.
I believe
Was that between meals or?
Yeah. Yeah. Over at the Mexican Regola
But the point I was making, people, you've got to have enough common sense to realize that if you've got a garage full of fishing tackle and you're selling it out of your garage, yes, you can sell that rattle trap for $4.
Yeah.
If you've got a nice store with employees, you can't sell it for $4.
Can't do
You've
it.
got to sell it for $6.
Right.
Don't be rude and think that retail seller is going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can buy it cheaper online. Let me knock my price down."
Yeah.
Don't do
That's
that
like
to them.
walking
Don't
in.
be a
That's
jerk.
like walking into Circle K, and a gallon of milk is $9.
Yeah.
They ain't no
And you
negotiating.
go, well, I can go to Brookshire's and get it for $5. You sure can. They're closed. Why aren't you there buying milk?
Yeah.
You know, the
You're
one
paying for the convenience.
exactly. The one thing that I think that anglers are probably pre-ordering a lot of now is terminal tackle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
The sinkers, the hooks, you know, all your Carolina.
Well,
type
you know,
rigs. That's easy to get online and order. Whereas instead of driving,
Storage systems.
Oh yeah, no
You
doubt.
know, I mean, when you
and you can see it.
And one of the things that Julie for Christmas bought me one of the real nice 100-mile-an-hour rain suits.
Windsuits, yeah. Heck
I mean,
yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah.
And she bought it online. She said, I was so scared. She says, because she said, I knew that it might not fit the way you wanted it to over all the clothes, you know,
Right.
this time of the year. And I said, well, the good thing, because it's Bass Pro Shop, I said, well, the good thing is that there is a local Bass Pro Shop that
Right.
I could have taken and exchanged it
Exactly.
for the right size. So I think that also comes into bearing.
Yeah.
Is there a local outlet for whatever it is that you're purchasing?
Yeah.
And you think about this, especially with a gun, you can't buy a gun online.
No, that's true. Yeah.
If we're looking at the hunting aspects of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm assuming that you can buy ammunition online, but I don't know if you can buy. I don't know if you can buy an unlimited amount. I don't know if there's limits on that. But when it comes right down to it, I want to walk into Davis. I want to look at that weapon.
Right.
I want to look at that ammo. I want to read the back of the box. I want to do those things because I don't know when I'm going to need it.
And I
don't want to buy it online and just have it sit there in my cabinet and getting older if I didn't need it.
I agree, and I want to talk to somebody knowledgeable about that gun.
Exactly.
So,
and that's another thing where a retail person, is part of the big picture.
oh yeah, no doubt.
I can remember back in the days, Mike, you remember this, when we used to hold so many tournaments out of Huxley Bay. They had an old fish basket hanging up in Huxley Bay, and it had the hot 3 baits of the week. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it'd be a mud bug up there, and maybe an 8-inch tequila sunrise worm, and an H&H
Right.
hanging on there. Now I don't know whether or not they had just gotten a deal and they're trying to sell all of those,
Right.
or what. But I'll tell you what, by looking at it, but putting my eyes on it,
Yeah.
I had to have that.
Oh yeah.
I had to have that right now.
Yeah, it's like a new pair of shoes for a woman.
There you go. Another one of those tips on the way, ladies.
I'm full of them. I got plenty.
PD Vincent is here. We got more winners on Sam Rayburn in the Bass Cash Bash. That is on the way. Hook it up and track it down. 11:30, the Tiger.
So I took what I could get.
Are you looking for some great fishing or cooking tips? Check out our website at HUTDshow.com, loaded with video tips that's sure to make you a better cook and fisherman. This segment presented by K2 Coolers, Nichols Department Stores, Groove Fishing Line, and Lake Fork Marina. Spring fishing is just around the corner, and Lake Fork Marina is taking reservations right now. To reserve your cabin or hotel room, go to lakeforkmarina.com. Now back to the best perch jerkers around, Steve, Gary, and Mike.
Where are we going for lunch today? Silver Star?
Hey, I'll go wherever.
Silver Star Smokehouse and Silver Star Grill. Let me tell you how wonderful this place. Hey, you know what? My son Buddy is getting married in May, and his father.
It's a girl, right?
It's his girl.
Okay.
Yeah, and his father-in-law. It's kind of weird. His father-in-law is like, "Well, we got to do the reception dinner," and he says, "We're going to get the marriage. Marriage is going to be down at Caspiana." And he said, I guess we're going to have to get this catered. And we were talking. He says, who would you have catered? I said, dude, David Alvis. He goes, oh, yeah.
Who else?
All of a sudden, he starts picturing those baked beans
Yeah.
and
Brisket.
the ribs and the brisket and stuff.
I can't make the wedding, but can I be invited to the rehearsal dinner?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great barbecue, fall off the bone ribs, Silver Star Smokehouse, Silver Star Grill, the absolute best steaks in all of Shreveport Bossier. They've got 3 great locations now. West Park Boulevard in Texarkana. Of course, the Silver Star Grill, Ellerby Road in Shreveport. And right there by Harris, Louisiana Downs, Dixie Overland Road in Bossier City, right there at I-220 and Highway 80. Owner David Alvis and his great staff invite you to try the best barbecue. Tell them we're trying to do a radio show here. Try the best barbecue west of the Mississippi. Go to silverstarsmokehouse.com to learn more.
Tip number 3 of the way that women were expected to
I can't
treat
believe
their.
you're even participating.
Hey, I'm
You don't have a choice.
Charlotte's at home sharpening her knife right now.
yeah, right.
heard the
Tip
story
number
about Lorena
3:
Bobbitt,
how
didn't
women
you?
should treat their husbands who hunt and fish. Clear away the clutter. Make one last trip through the house before he arrives home. Pick up all the old newspapers, toys, school books that the kids may have left out. They'll pick up the kids, too. Then run a dust rag over the tables. After a tough day of hunting or fishing, your husband will feel he has reached a haven of rest and order, and it will also make you feel better yeah, from sitting on the couch and watching soap operas while eating potato chips all day.
I can't even
I'm
believe
so glad that
y'all made
do
him read that.
I made sure he read that one.
Okay, wait, just
Hey,
a
Jay,
second.
did Casey get that one? Did you have Casey write that down?
No, I got the script ahead of time. I told her that we're not doing the show today, so she's not listening.
And I'm trying to look back over the years. When I came home from hunting and fishing, the only thing Charlotte was picking up was my stuff, throwing it out in the yard. The dust rag that she was running over the table was my best shirt.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And she did not watch soap operas, but she does like potato chips.
There we go. So there was a partial truth on that. P.D. Vincent is here. Bass Cash Bash. We got more winners. We saw the first winner. It was on Facebook.
Yeah, we've had
How many more?
We've had 8 tags caught so far on Lake Sam Rayburn.
All registered?
Afraid not.
How many?
We've only had 3 guys registered. We've had 5 non-winners so far that have turned in that have caught tags and reported them to us.
When
one
that happens,
just yesterday, while we were eating lunch, we got a phone call, and the guy was breaking up. I said, "Man, you breaking up?" So I don't know if it's your end, my end. He said, "Oh, it's my end. I'm out on the lake." I said, "Well, if you're out on the lake, there's only one reason you're calling me right now, and that's because you've got a tag in your hand." And he said, "No, I just threw it back because I'm one of those guys." That was his exact words. He said, "I'm one of those guys." He said, I completely planned to register, and it just...
Oh, well, that's good enough. I'll send you a check.
It slipped my mind.
Completely
Well,
forgot.
this year we're doing a little something for the guys who are that guy, and so you missed out on this.
Okay.
I did a Don't Be That Guy t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's got our logo and all, just like those are. But down the sleeve, it says, "Don't be that guy." And to anyone, and it's sponsored by Rod Armor, so we send them a couple of Rod Armor's rod protectors and a "Don't Be That Guy" t-shirt.
Oh,
so,
wow.
That's a good idea.
It's not $1,000, like they
No.
would love to have,
yeah.
I'm sure, but at least they get a little something out of it.
You know what?
And
It'd be
hopefully
cool.
get a laugh.
Right.
Next year, you ought to get it on the arm. It ought to say, "I was that guy."
Right. But then I wouldn't be able to wear it. And I really like that long sleeve T-shirt. That was why I originally had it made. And then I said, you know what, this would be a good idea.
Now,
to give.
but
Yes, sir.
before that Don't Be That Guy gets that Don't Be That Guy t-shirt, doesn't he have to prove that he actually called it? Does he have to read the tag?
Absolutely. He
Okay.
has to give me the tag number,
Right.
and he has to send me a picture and allow us to use his photo
Yeah.
in our promotions
Oh,
and
good.
stuff
Under
on
the dummy
Facebook.
section? Yeah.
I'll be more nice than that.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to kick things off a month from tomorrow on Lake Fork.
Lake Fork,
First time ever.
on Lake Fork. We're doing 2 different ways you can win on Lake Fork. We're going to have the tags on Lake Fork. Of course, not as many as Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn because the body of water is just not as
Yeah,
as
it's
large.
a smaller body of water.
It is. So we're only doing $90,000 worth of tags on Lake Fork. But I added another little aspect to it. We're going to do a Monster of the Month. The big bass caught each month by a registered participant is going to win $2,500 each month. So that's just $10,000.
Does that
just
include
in
slot
big bass.
fish?
Overs only.
Overs only.
Can guides get in this?
Guides not only can get in this, we also are offering on Lake Fork a guide bonus.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
If you're a guide, you're registered, you have a client who catches a tagged fish, and that client is registered, I'm going to pay that client whatever that fish is worth, and then I'm also going to give the guide $500 bonus just for being
Hey.
to try to encourage them to get their clients to sign up.
No
Johnny
doubt.
Guys, you better sign up.
Okay, so PD, now when you consider, all things done, where are you progressing on this? From the first year to now, percentage of the fish that were caught by registered anglers.
That had the registered winners has increased, but our numbers have increased also as to the number of people who are signing up.
So it's in proportion to the increase in anglers.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the total number of tags each year, the percentage has not gone up. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's
right.
been very, very steady. We've had 27 to 30% each year is pretty much the amount of tags that have been caught. So last year we had 115 guys just last year.
Wow.
Which is right at 30% of the total tags we released. And of course we had an angler that caught our boat tag last year, and unfortunately,
Oh no.
yes, we're talking a $60,000 Phoenix boat, fully loaded, Minn Kota trolling motor, 2 Humminbird Helix 9s,
Now, up to this
Talon
point-
shallow water anchors, everything.
Right. On Rayburn, is it just been cash awarded so far? No boats? or
So
trucks?
far, no boat or truck has
right.
been reported.
Still out
and,
there.
And that is one thing, one aspect of it that we don't have any control over is, let's say, Steve, you're out there fishing, you catch one of our tags, but you're not signed up, and you say, oh, man, I didn't sign up, but you know what? I'm taking this baby home and throwing him in the grease. I'll use the tag as
Right.
a toothpick. We really strongly encourage people to please release the fish. We have no control over that.
Or at least notify you.
If they tell us they caught it and they want to keep the fish, if they will return the tag to me, I'll go get that tag. I'll put it on another fish.
Yeah.
If they're not willing to do that, because once you catch it, it's yours.
Yeah.
Every year I purchase extra tags, and if somebody lets me know and they can give me the tag number and say, hey, I'm not giving it back, I'll go take another tag and put it on another fish.
What if you found a floating fish with a tag on it? Does that
We
qualify?
haven't run across that.
What would you do then?
Honestly, I'd have to pay them. They caught the fish.
Yeah.
They
Fair and
didn't.
square.
They didn't do
Okay,
anything
that
wrong.
ain't what I actually thought about this scenario going home from Rayburn the other day. I said, what if I found a dead fish? I personally wouldn't expect you to pay me. Just because the fish, I didn't really catch the fish.
But in all honesty, you didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
You weren't breaking any rules. So I would probably write you a check, no questions asked.
Wow.
I did for the first time. So I've been doing this for 3 years, and for the first time, had a lady stump me the other day with a question through Facebook Messenger. Let's say I catch the fish. It tells you clip the tag, put it in your pocket. What if I happen to drop the tag in the lake? Does it float?
Oh, wow.
Does it float?
Oh, wow.
That was the first time anyone had ever stumped me to the point where I have no answer for you.
Did you take a tag to go
So
see?
the first thing I did, as soon as I got home from work that afternoon from the refinery, I fixed me a bowl of water, went and got one of the tags from last year that had been turned in, dropped it in the water. Sure enough, floats like a boat.
Oh, good.
Well, good.
Stays right on top
That's
of the
like
surface.
saying I had the winning lottery ticket and
Yeah.
the wind
And
blew
the
it out of
dog
my
blew it out
hand.
of my hand. The dog ate my homework.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well,
How bad does a man kick himself with a $60,000 fish in the boat?
He's from right here in Shreveport. He fishes for the LSU Shreveport fishing teams. I'm not going to name no names, Jared Rasco, but
How bad?
I thought you were going to say JP Kimbrough.
Golly.
yeah, he was fishing a night tournament. It was an open night tournament. They came to the weigh in, and he's got his fish in his bag. He hands them to the weighmaster, and he's pulling them out, putting them in a basket, and all of a sudden he just stopped. He looked at him. He said, "Are you signed up for Bass Cash Bash?" He said, "Oh, no, I didn't sign up." He said, "Well, this one has a tag on it." He said, "Oh, shoot." He said, "What would I have won?" They flip it over. Sure enough, on our truck and boat, it actually says truck and boat. And sure enough, he flips it over, BOAT.
Wow.
Yeah, wasn't it last year you had a guy, I think he's a college series guy, caught a tagfish in practice,
Yes.
called his dad, said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. I'm
caught
not
one.
registered. Would
Yep.
you register me? registering. The next day he goes out and catches another tag fish.
Yes, sir. Puts it in the live well.
Yeah.
And they catch fish number 6. He hands it to his partner while he's up there running the trolling motor. Partner, he didn't clip the tag as soon as he brought the fish in. Let's tell you that. So his partner takes the fish number 6, puts it in the live well, grabs the smallest one, throws it into the lake.
It was the tag.
And midair goes, "Oh no!" And Tyler Craig from ULM says, "Man, what is it?" He said, "Dude, I just threw your tag back in the lake."
Oh man.
Hey.
How sickening!
Oh, that's bad.
And he even got the bonus T-shirt. So we're talking $1,500. He missed out on $3,000, but $1,500 you were registered for it.
So what are the goals with Bass Cash Bash? Do you want to? I mean, do you eventually want to have this on all the area lakes, or is it as big now as you ever wanted?
No, I would like to grow it. I really would. I would like to get to a point where I don't go to Phillips 66 anymore. I just promote this full time. But it's numbers. A smaller lake, you're not going to have the number of anglers you would need to sign up to cover $100,000 worth of tags, or you know what I mean.
But if it's part of the overall big picture, the Bass Cash Bash umbrella. I mean, you're dealing with 3 lakes now.
And this is one thing I thought about. Up here you have, say 3 or 4 smaller lakes. Instead of having one of those lakes as a Bass Cash Bash lake, include 3 of them and say, okay.
This is the Caddo Cross.
Exactly. We're going to do a 3-lake deal. It's $50 to sign up for all 3 of these lakes. We've divided the tags amongst these 3 lakes, and I've considered that. And it is – I'm still growing baby steps.
No, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've only I just started this in 2015, and the response has been overwhelming. I mean, people have really enjoyed it. We get a lot of positive feedback, but we are still in our only our 4th year.
One more question.
Sure.
Had Tyler taken a picture of that fish with the tag, and you could see the tag number, would he still have qualified to
No,
win?
sir. And the reason being is because you have to actually turn the tag in.
Okay.
To win.
Wow.
Hey, real quick, I know we're up against it. You got Daryl Gleason coming on
Right.
a little later. Real quick story. So he helps me with the tagging process, on both Rayburn and Toledo Bend. December 23rd, we were going to do the truck and the boat, shoot the video of releasing the truck and the boat tag. So we're headed to the lake. And when we get there, you remember how cold it was in December. I mean, it was just miserable. And he's like, man, it may take us all day, to get these 2 fish caught. We launch the boat. We pull up. I tie on a rattle trap. My first cast, I catch a 3.5. We put it in the live well. We run, about 15 miles away so that the fish are spread out where we caught them. Second cast with a rattle trap, 3-pounder.
No.
Yes,
Wow.
sir. You talk about, hey.
2 casts.
My guy, the Silver Fox of Toledo Bend. Yes, sir. No, actually, it was the second cast once we arrived. So 3 casts.
3 casts, 2
2
fish.
fish.
2 fish.
You weigh 6.5 pounds.
We had the videos shot. I was in my recliner before lunch.
Way
Wow.
to go.
So
Well, let me give you
Well,
some.
yes,
sir.
Let me give you some advice.
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
At Phillips 66.
Phillips 66.
Yes, sir.
And you say you want to get this where you don't have to go to Phillips 66.
That would be the ultimate goal, yes.
Bass Cash Bash will never pay you a 501k retirement, and they will never pay health insurance. You keep your butt at that retirement.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That insurance, I know.
P.D. Vinson, Bass Cash Bash. Okay, the website if somebody's wanting to get signed up online right now.
BassCashBash.com. We
Local
also
retail outlets.
Dude, we've got 45.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we've got enough time
No.
in the segment. But if you've got a local bait and tackle shop that's around one of our 3 lakes, stop in it. There's a 99.9% chance they are a Bass Cash Bash registration station.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, unless you're in the mountains of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody's got one.
Hey, we've got a online Facebook giveaway going on right now. So go
On the Facebook page?
Yeah, check out our Bass Cash
All right.
Bash Facebook page as well.
Good deal.
We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
Do you know about our social network? Check out our Facebook page at Hook It Up and Tracking Down Show for outdoors news and some great educational videos. This segment presented by United Rentals, Cypress Knee Outdoors, and Bucks and Bulls Outfitters. Book your next big game hunting adventure by going to bucksandbulls.com.
Well, somebody say something.
Something.
Well, you know what? Someplace here, I've got it. There it is.
Davis Clothing and Outdoor.
You know, it is Davis Clothing and Outdoor. And you just talked about a while ago about the retail and the wholesale and stuff, online and stuff, and that's something that Davis is doing both of.
Exactly.
You know,
number one in the world in overall sales online.
Yeah. In the world.
In the world.
Yeah.
Nobody sells more overalls.
I mean, you know, but what store really can you go to, other than, you know, Walmart or something, that you can walk in and find the line of clothing,
Right.
casual clothing, dress clothing, work clothing, hunting clothing, and then step over the counter and look at your hunting and fishing stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You know, they are outdoor headquarters for golf, fishing, hunting, and work. Camo fishing apparel by Hook, H-U-K.
Which we talked about last week on the show. Camo apparel for fishing now.
Yes.
but it's that digitized stuff.
Mojo
and, that's kind of
and
attractive.
Columbia. You don't like the digitized?
No, I said
I
it's
don't-
attractive.
Oh,
I like
okay,
that,
yeah.
I don't like the digitized.
They've got a great
That's 'cause
selection
there's
of
something wrong
pants
with
and
you.
shirts.
You wear them little socks. It cuts off the blood to your brain.
I got those.
Sorry, Mike.
I got those at Davis Clothing and Outdoor, though.
I'm sorry.
We got two commercials going on
We'll
at the
shut
same
up.
time.
Yeah.
Great for sunscreen. Their pants and shorts. Great for sunscreen protection and keeping you cool. Go to Davis Clothing and Outdoors, 4481 Viking Drive in Bossier, and that's at the corner of Viking Drive and Swan Lake Road, right off 220. Or just go to davisclothingandoutdoors.com.
Okay, more of these tips.
Yeah.
We're trying to teach Charlotte. Trying to teach Charlotte how to treat Mike.
Again, ladies, I want you to listen up. This is how the women of the 50s treated their husbands when they came home.
And this still works today.
It still works today. And a lot of women are getting back to this. Feminism's way overrated.
Oh, without a doubt.
Way overrated. Number 4, ladies, prepare the children. Take a few minutes to wash the kids' hands and faces. Comb their hair. And if necessary, change their clothes. Long days of pursuing wild game is very stressful, and the last thing your husband wants to see kids who look like they came off the streets or from an orphanage.
Julie McCoy's going to hit me in the mouth when I get home.
You should have just drawn the line off the last end of it. So the last thing they want to see is kids. Period.
Last thing they want to do is see you come home. Julie gets mad at me every morning, hits me just because I woke up.
Yeah.
You know,
What are you
I
doing
died
here?
in my sleep.
When did you come home?
Okay, we got some BASS trivia for you, outdoor news. I got to remind you, here at Straight Up 12 noon, Bassmaster Classic Qualifier, 2015 Classic Champ, Casey Ashley won this tournament in 2015 on Hartwell. They will be back on Hartwell this year, and Casey's going to be on the show with us. Also, the College Series Tournament Director, Hank Weldon, at 12:15 today, and at 12:30, Toledo Bend Guide and V&M Pro, Daryl Gleason, a Toledo Bend report for us. That's at 12:30. Okay, we got some BASS trivia.
Yeah, we do. Here we go. What's your BAS IQ? 12 anglers have won both the Bassmaster Classic and the Toyota Angler of the Year, but only one was born outside the continental United States. Who was it? Jay Ellis, Kevin Van Dam, Hank Parker, or Takahiro Omori? Now, the obvious one is the last one, but that's probably a trick question here.
I'm going to say Amori.
I'm going to say Jay Ellis.
I'm going to go with Yellis, too, because I got a feeling he's from a military family or something. Let's see here. Yes, Yellis was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Van Dam and Parker were born in Michigan. And
Wait a
North
minute.
Carolina. Maury was born in Japan, but was never Angler of the Year.
Okay, because Yellis, Hawaii, unless anybody has checked lately, is a state.
He said outside the continental.
Outside.
Oh, okay, I wasn't paying attention.
So what happened to Jay Ellis? I know he moved up to Oregon or Washington or something.
He still fishes.
Is he?
Fishes
Okay.
FLW a lot.
Okay.
Didn't he used to do Christian speaking engagements?
Yes.
You know,
He does a lot of speaking engagements, and is a great speaker. I've heard him twice.
I know that I had him on my regular radio show with me at one point. He
Yeah.
was coming to town to speak.
That part-time job you got?
Yeah, that part-time job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over at the refinery.
With 401k.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Number 2. Who is the only designer to win Best Hard Lure and Best Soft Lure at the same ICAST tackle show? James Hedden, Ed Chambers, Gary Yamamoto, or Patrick Sabile?
Say them again.
James Hedden of Hedden Lures. Yeah. Ed Chambers, not sure who Ed's affiliated with. Gary Yamamoto Custom Baits. And D. Patrick Sabile of Sabile Lures.
I didn't know that.
I'm going with the second one.
Ed Chambers?
That's
Yes.
what I'll do. I'll
I'm
agree.
going to say, I'm going to go with Hedden. Yamamoto doesn't.
What did
he
Hedden
doesn't
make
have
that was a
hard
soft
bait.
plastic?
I don't know. I'm just going with it.
Okay.
The answer is D. Sabile won both sides of the lure company for ICAST 2009. His magic.
Oh,
Sabile.
okay, Sabile. Sabile, I didn't know that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
They're the ones that make all the swim baits and stuff.
He won.
Oh, really?
His
High
magic,
dollar.
Oh.
Magic Swimmer and Best Soft Lure won Best Soft Lure, and his Spin Shad won Best Hard Lure. All right, number 3. When Manabu Karuta caught the 22 4.97-pound largemouth bass from Japan's Lake Biwa in 2009, the IGFA certified.
Are you speaking English?
Yeah, I am. Slowly. Certified it as tying the existing world record of George Perry's 22.4 from Georgia in 1932. Why is it not a new standalone record? A.
I
know.
I do too, because you got to beat them by 2 ounces.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Yeah. That was
that's
the
all I
rule.
need to go through
But
this
they made up that rule after it all happened. They made that rule up.
I don't think so.
I think they wanted that record to stay here in America, and they did.
Well, yeah, I'd like for it to stay in America, but I honestly don't think that the old world record bass was true.
I agree. I agree with Michael.
I guarantee
I
it
do
wouldn't
not
wait
believe
on
it.
digital scales.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
So.
I agree with Michael on that. All right. Number 4. Who was the last Bassmaster Classic champion to be invited to the White House and meet President of the United States?
Ooh.
A. Bobby Murray in 78, Rick Clunn in 84, Mark Davis in 1995, or Alton Jones in 2008?
Alton Jones. Alton Jones.
You're probably right.
Wouldn't George Bush have still been in the office in 8, or would that have been the first year of Obama?
That'd have been wasn't it Clinton's last year? Would that been,
No, 2008
no,
would have
it'd been
Bush.
Obama. It'd been Obama.
Okay, then no.
I'm gonna say Davis in 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obama didn't invite a fisherman.
No.
Nope.
No.
Jones and Judy Wong. I should have known this because I've got the
Alton Jones did go.
I've actually got the picture. Jones and Judy Wong, a winner of the women's 2008 Bassmaster Tournament Championship.
We can't hear you
Wow.
because you got your head turned away from the microphone.
Well, I'm speaking of the mic. But anyway, nobody needs to hear me anyway. But they were
Nobody
both
listens.
invited. They were both invited to the White House at the same time. So there you go.
Does it say who was in office at that time, or because it could have been in 08, it could have been that it was the
George W. Bush.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Hot dog, I was right.
You're sharp. You're pretty
Hey,
sharp.
How about that?
I don't care what Julie says.
Yeah.
Not as stupid as you look.
Who was that? You were telling us a story about somebody had a bass boat that George Bush had signed.
Oh, yeah, a guy that his name's Dwight. He actually bought Alton Jones Jr.'s boat, and he parked it beside me at Rayburn a couple of weeks ago. And anyway, beautiful. It's a Skeeter boat, but it was also custom colors, and a dark midnight blue, beautiful boat. And I said, "Man, that's a pretty boat." He said, "Well, you know who this used to be?" I said, "No." He said, "Alton Jones Jr. I bought it off of him." And custom color. He said, "George W. Bush actually signed it because he fished in this boat." I said, "Come on!" I thought it was pretty cool. Got to
Did
see
you see it?
Yeah.
Where he signed it?
Yeah.
How do you keep that on there?
Probably just don't wash it.
Or you could put some polyurethane over
That's
it.
what I'm wondering.
Probably.
Yeah.
Something
I don't
like
know
that.
if he did that or not, but I'm
You
sure
could put duct tape over it. And it would,
Hey,
yeah.
it'll cure everything. We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger on the way. Bassmaster Classic qualifier and 2015 Classic champ Casey Ashley. He is next.
Right or wrong, I'm still in love with you.
That's right, here comes one more hour of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. This segment presented by Despino and Jim's Big South Tire, the Red River Waterway Commission, Commercial Power Equipment, and Stingray Line Cutter, the last line cutter you'll ever need. Go to stingraylinecutter.com to order yours now. Now back to the best outdoor show on the radio with Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the Dink Master, Steve Graff.
Hey, before we get to Casey Ashley and talk about this year's Bassmasters Classic that's coming up next month, want to remind you that tomorrow is the big day.
Yeah.
Bellevue Meat Processing has been telling us, for a couple of months now, that if you would hold your deer, quarter those deer when you killed them back during season, if you would hold those deer quartered and then bring those deer to them effective February 1st, which is tomorrow, you would get a 15% discount on your entire processing fee. So guess what? Tomorrow is that day. If you want to start lining up, I'm sure that Chris and Carla will be ready and waiting on you all the way through the course of the weekend. Bellevue Meat Market, over 20 years of custom processing. Chris and Carla always looking for better ways, better techniques. They've got a huge and great selection of different sausages, whether it's Italian smoked, summer, great snack sticks, the breakfast sausage that's just unbelievable. And if you need more information, it's all online for you, BellevueMeat.com. Go there to learn more.
Tip number 5, women, how to treat your man who hunts and fishes. And this is actually one that I agree with. Not I agree with, but happens around my house. Minimize all noise. At the time of his arrival, coming home from hunting and fishing, eliminate all noises like the dishwasher, the dryer, or the vacuum. See, none of that goes on at my house. This is a good one. Encourage the kids to hold it down since Dad has been sitting in a noisy tree stand or flying down the lake in a bass boat at 70 miles an hour, tolerating high wind and noise. Also, be happy to see him and greet him with a warm smile and a Crown Royal and water. Oh,
that's my attitude.
Okay, Bassmaster Classic qualifier again this year, 2015 Classic champ. Lake Hartwell. Casey, Ashley, should they just go ahead and hand you the trophy right now, Casey? Just call this thing off.
Yeah, I wish. I don't think it's going to be that easy, though.
You can't talk them into submission early.
Hey, I'd take it, but I don't think it's going to go down that way.
Well, Casey, we want to ask you also the question of the, like the women of the 1950s. How does your girlfriend or wife, are you married now? How does she treat you or welcome you home after a hard day of fishing?
She's always got supper ready. That's the best way.
Oh, heck,
Sales tip
there
number
you
one,
go.
buddy.
Ladies,
Tip number
ladies,
one.
listen up.
Yeah, hey, I was listening to your tips. That was pretty good.
And I'm glad he said a she. You don't know nowadays.
So, Casey, when it comes right down to it, how different is the lake going to be this classic than it was when you won?
Oh, it'll be a whole different world. I mean, it's a month later. The lake's low right now. It's about 10 feet low. I don't see it coming up very much unless we, get a monsoon, which I don't foresee happening. There'll be a lot more fish shallow this time. It'll be anybody's ball game. It's probably going to be a really good classic, to be honest with you. It's going to be a great one to watch. It's going to be a nail biter to fish in.
10 feet low. Is that area in a drought?
No, they draw our lakes down every year for winter pool, and they did it, and we didn't get very much rain in the fall like they anticipate.
Yeah.
But and I don't foresee it happening to bring it up anytime soon. So our lakes go through cycles like that. They'll sometimes get down, 17, 18 feet low.
Good.
Which is
Now,
it's bad at the time. It's bad at the time, but it's really good in the long run.
Casey, is this going to cause the lake to fish smaller, or is this just a horizontal drop, or is it actually shrinking the fishing areas?
Well, Lake Hartwell's so big and it's so cut up. And what I mean by that, there's so many creeks and pockets and coves just everywhere. So it's still going to fish big. It's just not as much cover in the water.
Okay. Yeah, Casey, with it being this late, this is the latest classic we've had in a while. They've always been in February. Is the spawn going to come into play here?
It'll have to be an abnormal warming trend for that to happen. It has happened. I've actually seen them spawn in February. But that's non-typical. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. That's usually, mid-March is when the fish really start to pull up. They're in a hard pre-spawn pattern, and man, they're everywhere. So, yeah, I'm praying it snows.
I'm sure you are.
I want it to be cold,
I want to kind of step away from the classic for just a second, and there's a couple of questions that how important is color of lures to Casey Ashley? Whether it's soft plastic, how important is color?
Not very. I've got a handful of baits. Color is for your mind. I mean, to be honest with you, I've got 4 or 5 colors that I use all the time, no matter where I go.
That explains
it
my
works
problem.
for me, and I've got confidence in it. And
what colors? What colors?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If you've got 5 colors, soft plastics in the box, what colors? What 5 colors are in that box?
Green pumpkin, red bug, June bug red, watermelon candy, and an old color that Zoom. I don't even think they make it anymore. It's called gourd green.
Yeah.
I remember the gourd green.
Dion Hibden told me, Casey, one time that if I carried every color lure, every color plastic that is hot on each body of water, I'd need a U-Haul trailer to cover all my plastic. He's probably right. I never thought about it like that.
If you carried every color that everybody says is good these days, you need an 18-wheeler truck.
Exactly.
How deep do you think the fish are going to be?
Deep?
Yeah.
Man, it all depends on the weather.
Yeah.
It could be cold even in March. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had a snow the second week of March, the biggest snow I can ever remember as a kid. But we've also been 80 degrees.
Yeah.
So it all depends. I don't foresee them being, on the bed per se, but they should be in that pre-spawn range, the 10 foot and less, I would say.
Other than yourself, is there another sleeper out there that maybe people don't know about that's actually in this classic from that region that could be a guy that, he could win this thing?
Being local or in the same region, it doesn't really matter. The only time you have a big advantage as far as being a local boy is if you have bad weather conditions like cold and really bad cold fronts, weather conditions, that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But Lake Harrell is such a unique lake. You can fish shallow, you can find dirty water, you can catch them deep in the clear water. I mean, it just has so much to offer. So it fits anybody's, whatever their style is of fishing, they can find it there. Mm-hmm. And, there's not one place on that lake or creek or anything that you can say, hey, it's going to be one here. I mean, it's so big, and it could be one anywhere. So you just never know.
What is winning
when you put?
Go ahead.
I said when you put 50 some odd of the greatest anglers in the world on one body of water, you never know what's going to happen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. What does winning the Classic do to your career?
It was a big thing for me, especially. You can't grasp what it means to win a Classic until you do it, because I've only missed 2 Classics in my career, and I've been behind the scenes, watched it happen, watched that guy win, thinking, God, man, that would be awesome. And then it happens, and it's nothing that you ever thought it would be. Mm-hmm. You get super busy. It's just a different world, and once you do it, it never comes back. So more people know your name. Makes it a little easier to get sponsors. You get a little more credibility. It's the biggest, it's the highest podium that you can get to in bass fishing. Mm-hmm. And you stood on that. You stood on that one time, and nobody can ever take that away.
Okay, what does winning the Classic do to your fishing the next year?
Oh, good gracious.
Makes it tough.
I am glad they put the clause in to where you automatically end the next year if you win the Classic, because you're so busy, you know, and it's a good thing, talking with radio guys like yourself and doing interviews and going and making appearances. It's just overwhelming, the calls you get and the stuff that you have to keep up with. I used to be able to keep my schedule in my head. Now I do good to remember what day it is right now. So, that definitely changes.
So had you not won the Classic, or you're saying if you had not got an automatic berth to the Classic second time because of your schedule, you wouldn't have made it the next year?
Oh, heck no.
Okay.
No, I think that was either my worst or my second worst season ever.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather win Angler of the Year 3 times or just one Classic?
Well, if you'd asked me that 10 years ago, I would have said I'd rather win Angler of the Year. But after seeing what the Classic does for you as a person, I would take the Classic any day.
Wow.
Well, what's next on your goals? I mean, when Casey Ashley sits down and he says, in 5 years, I mean, what's next on that bucket list?
I definitely want to win Angler of the Year. I'll tell you kind of the difference between AOY and the Classic. When you win AOY, you're the man in the fisherman's eyes. When you win the Classic, everybody knows your name. You go in the households. People, and I don't know why that is, because for a fisherman, that's the biggest, highest achievement that you can do is to win AOY. Mm-hmm. But to everybody else in the world, sponsors included, they want that Classic. And that's what makes it so big.
Well, I think I see what you're saying, Casey, but correct me if I'm wrong. To win the Classic, you won a tournament. Almost anybody in the world can win a tournament. When everything goes right for you, you can win. When you win AOI, you did it all. AOY, you did it all year.
Yeah,
you just didn't have a great 3 days.
Right,
you did it all year.
But like you're saying, all the fishermen know you're the man if you won AOY.
Right.
But everybody knows who you are when you win the Classic.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, Casey, absolutely.
Go ahead, Casey.
No, I was just saying that's exactly right, and I don't know why that is, but that's just the way it is.
Well, I mean, there's a big difference in doing it all year long and winning one tournament.
Consistency.
That's it. I mean, I can see where the fishermen say, okay, this guy is for real. Yeah. He did it for 12 months. He didn't do it for 3 days. He did it for 12 months.
Yeah.
I can see it.
But you had to qualify.
That's the way they look at me.
You had to qualify for the Classic. You got to remember that too.
Casey, what advice? We got some young anglers that listen to this show and watch us on the internet as well on our homepage. What advice would you give to any of the high school kids? Because the one question that I hear a lot and get asked a lot, and I'm sure you get the questions because you're the pro, sponsors. When these kids today coming up think they're supposed to have sponsors now. How do I get sponsors? What do I need to do to get sponsors? What is your advice to those high school kids right now? What should they be focusing on?
I'm probably not the best to ask about the sponsor deal. Sponsors, to me, for a young kid, they shouldn't even worry about it. Because it doesn't matter if you come into the fishing world and have the greatest sponsors in the world already. You know, you still have to perform. And you still need to prepare yourself. You know, it's just like baseball, football, or anything. You know, everyone doesn't make it. I mean, it's just only, you know, a handful of guys. If you look at the big picture, 100 versus all the other fishermen in the world that want to be a pro, I mean, it just doesn't happen. So I tell kids, you know, don't set aside education, don't set aside sports when you're coming through school for fishing. You know, you can play every sport in school and still fish on the weekends. And, you know, go to college, get you a degree, get something, you know, if you do want to fish, take some business courses, take some marketing courses, because you're going to need that. I wish I would have done that. And then when it's all said and done, if you make it fishing, you can pat yourself on the back. But, you know, if it doesn't happen, you're not standing there and had all your eggs in one basket, per se. You've got something to fall back on. You may even be able to fish in the, you know, work in the fishing industry. But just be prepared. I mean, that's kind of the way I took it. I knew I wanted to fish from a young age. My whole family loves to fish, but I was still, you know, smart enough to know that everybody doesn't get lucky enough to make it. And I had something to fall back on. Fortunately enough, you know, I started in 2006, and I'm still here.
Hey, let me tell you, that's some of the best advice.
Yeah.
Business classes, marketing classes, they're going to go hand in hand with every bit of what goes on in this industry because, you know, truly, when you consider those sponsors, it doesn't really matter at some point, you know, how good you really are. It's how much product did you help us sell.
Yeah.
And if you're really good at that, at the spoken word, you know, standing on that stage as the winner, you know, did you seize that moment and did you sell their product when you were in that limelight? And man, you know, you've hit a home run on that. Casey, thank you.
Yep.
Hey, guys, I appreciate you having me on. I hope we get to talk again here in about a month.
Well, you know,
hey, if you win, we will.
I will tell you this. You know, every year, the Wednesday right after the Classic, we have the Classic champ on.
Yep.
So just get your story straight now, okay?
Okay.
Good luck, Casey.
I'll go ahead and start writing it down.
There you
Thank
go.
you, guys. I appreciate it.
Casey Ashley, he is in this year's Classic again. He won it in 2015. And here in just a minute, the collegiate director, Hank Weldon, we're going to talk to him about what goes into the process of the actual cancellation or postponement of some of these tournaments.
Yeah.
And the mindset behind that. Hook it up and track it down, 11:30, the Tiger. Hey, it's Gary McCoy along with the old Ranger Iowa Pro Staffer. He is Steve Greff, the Mud Hen, Mike Eccles. This is Hooking Up and Tracking Down. Thank you for tuning in. 11:30 The Tiger. And little word to the wise here. We at the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show want to thank our great producer, Jay, the Wild Man,
Woo.
Watley.
It sounds so good when you guys say this every week.
Pushes all the right buttons, makes the show possible, runs it flawlessly, talks to every one of our... You're personal friends with Hank Weldon now, aren't you?
Yeah, we go way back.
That's
Hank
what
and
I thought, you know.
2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. I'm saying, you know, Hank will be sending you a Christmas card this year.
I at least want a friend request on Facebook.
Hey, this segment is brought to you by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoor Supercenter, Groove Fishing, Seagar Fishing Line, and Rayburn Country Resort, an East Texas community and golf destination at Lake Sam Rayburn. Come for the weekend, stay for a lifetime. Book your next getaway at RayburnCountryResort.com.
K2 Coolers, one of our great sponsors. K2 Coolers is a Louisiana-made product. It's a real cooler at a real affordable price. Use it for tailgating, hunting trips, fishing trips, family getaways. There's not a week goes by.
It's a great chair, too.
It does.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of coolers that you
can't
cannot
sit 'em.
sit or stand on.
Exactly.
And you can that.
When you're married to a 4-foot-tall woman like me, I'm telling you, you carry that K2 cooler into the kitchen.
Oh, good. 4 foot. Top of, never mind.
Just right.
Yeah,
Stand on
okay.
that to wash the dishes.
That's why we've been married 20 years.
Like I said, I don't. A week doesn't go by that I don't use my K2 cooler. We just talked about the Gumbo Gladiator contest coming up in March.
Yeah.
I will use both of them to fill it full to take my stuff out there, the hot stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
One for cold, one for hot.
Yeah. Put crawfish in there. You can keep them hot for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, no, I'd eat them for that. The winner of of our K2 Cooler Facebook promo, James Morgan of Louisiana. Congratulations. You want one of these coolers, go to Paul's Farm and Garden on North Market in Shreveport or go to K2Coolers.com.
Okay.
You guys want me to get in on
Yeah,
this?
you got a tip, Jay.
50s tip?
You got a woman at your house.
Yeah, you are getting in
needs
trouble.
to learn.
I might as well get in trouble too, huh?
Yeah, buddy.
There you
Well,
go.
this is tip number 6 today. It's some don'ts. Don't greet him with complaints. Oh, my goodness, this is going to be bad. Don't greet him with complaints or with the words, glad you're home. It's your turn to take care of the kids.
That's right.
This will upset him.
That's right.
I'm getting upset thinking about
Amen.
it and cause him to resent coming home.
Preach it,
Also,
brother.
don't complain if he's late for dinner, as he might have just been held up by his buddies drinking another cold one, and, of course, telling them how lucky he is to have a wife like you.
See. Ladies, write these down.
It's on how you present things.
Yeah,
man.
buddy. We'll put divorce lawyers out of business.
Good job, Jay.
Okie dokie. We have the fortune of visiting today with Hank Weldon. And Hank, of course, is the BASS College Series Tournament Director. And, you know, between Hank and his dad, you guys have actually, y'all have overseen a couple of bass tournaments in your life.
Yeah, hey guys, how are you? Yeah, no, that's a true statement.
So
Even with me, I've only been doing it since 11, but yeah, I've done my fair share now.
So tell me, I mean, you know, when you guys have a situation like of late, you know, the cancellation of tournaments, postponement of tournaments and stuff like that, what goes into that? I know that you've got a rule, one of the BASS rules, I want to say, is that if the tournament is going to be deemed unsafe for at least half of the day because of fog or lightning or something along those lines, then at that point you cancel it. Is there other stuff that goes into that mindset, though?
Oh, sure. You know, I mean, one of the rule of thumbs we have as a tournament director is you'll hardly ever see us make a decision on the forecast, you know, a few days out. You always, you know, we see forecasts change all the time. And, you know, we're always holding on to hope. And, you know, like this past Saturday, it was not looking good. I mean, you know, that it was very strange. In my short time, but still, like you said, doing a lot of tournaments, I've never had to call a day off for a 4-hour fog delay like we had.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. We had our high school registration on site that day, and at 3 o'clock, it was so foggy. It looked like, you know, an early morning fog. It was very strange. I think it was warm
rain hitting cold water. But, you know, there's a lot of things that go into it. A lot of it's just experience through, you know, the tournament director and what we deem safe conditions, because when you make that call, when you say go, those 240 boats are going to go if you tell them to. They're trusting you, and, you know, that's a lot of responsibility on us.
Now,
so we don't take decisions like that lightly.
Right.
Now, Hank, what is the situation with, and what's the mindset too, with some of the major organizations that do not like to trailer? What goes into the thought process? You know, I know like Bass Champs and some of the major team circuits, they trailer all the time with little repercussion. Why doesn't BASS or FLW do the same?
Well, you know, I obviously can't speak for those other tournament organizations. You know, that stuff works for them. But one of the main reasons we don't do it is because we do a safety check on every boat every day. You know, they parade through, they go out, they pull their kill switch, make sure that's working. They have their life jackets on, make sure, you know, we know they're in the boat. Another thing, big thing is fish care. When they're coming through the line, they have those live wells turned on and pumping. And if none of that safety equipment's working, you can't go. And then the other thing, you know, that's a challenge for us, again, not for others necessarily, but if you do a trailer tournament, you're basically saying start time is at 7 a.m. You can't really flight, you know, again, that's making assumptions on when, you know, people are doing it. But with our system, we flight the boats to equalize the amount of fishing time everyone has, but then also to help streamline the weigh-in. If we had all 240 boats check in at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a mess on our hands, you know, and then we got to try to weigh 240 bags of fish pretty quickly because we want to get those fish back out in the water. So, you know, as far as the way we're structured, that presents some problems, creates some variables that we don't necessarily want to have in the tournaments that we're running.
Well, you know what? You bring up a really good point, because with BASS, it's a singles tournament, and you've got a non-boater whose safety you're responsible for that's in that boat. It's not like a team tournament where there's an assumed liability placed on that co-angler,
right?
You know, who's
Your
part
buddy.
of that team.
Yeah.
So, you know, as an organization, you've got to watch over those non-boaters who are in that boat with them. One of the things that's occurred to me though is, you know, 2018 has had a terrible start in regards to safety. As far as anglers, I mean, we've had some horrific. You know, one fatality that we know of. There's been some other issues. Do you think that that's something that the bigger organizations, BASS, FLW, do you think, you know, because of the increased horsepower, you know, the speeds of the boats and stuff nowadays, do you think there's going to be a circling of the wagons and maybe some rethinking, or is it as safe now as you could possibly make it?
I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, it's hard to say. You know, our thoughts and prayers are certainly out with the anglers who, you know, have had that happen, and you know, certainly just an awful thing that happened. But it's hard to say there. I mean, you know, we talk about it in every year, and almost every week we have a tournament management meeting where we go through rules and regulations, all that sort of thing. But you know, the one thing we are happy to report is we've had. Now in 2019 or 2018, we've had 3 takeoffs and 3 weigh-ins, and everybody's gone out safely and come back in safely, you know, with the 1 cancellation. So, you know, that safety is a huge part of what we stress in our briefings to these anglers.
All right. Hank, let's jump back to the Toledo Bend tournament real quick that you just wrapped up at Toledo Bend, the Carhartt Bassmaster College Series event. Connor Schote and Hunter DeSplinter actually won this event. U of W of Platteville. What school is that?
Right. So it's Wisconsin Platteville. I mean, it was an awesome tournament. It was the largest college tournament to ever take place across, you know, any tournament organization that's ever done anything. So it shows you the beauty of Toledo Bend. But, you know, we had 84 institutions representing 29 states and 248 boats in that thing. And it was an awesome event. You know, they were probably the only team who did want us to, you know, everybody knew was good with the cancellation, but, you know, they were probably the one team that was hoping it was going to cancel,
Exactly.
within a 4-hour
please
period.
stop them now. Don't
Right. Because that courtesy of a 10-pounder, they had a 25-pound bag. So I mean, that was a gorgeous fish. A new lunker will enter into the Toledo Bend Lake Association program. They'll get a replica and everything. So I mean, we had a great time. You guys know, I feel like we talk once a year now because we come there so much and recap the events after we've been there.
Do they sell Texas maps in Wisconsin?
That's a good question. I will tell you, though, the new Lake Master chip, you don't have it, get it, because it is awesome on that lake now.
Huh.
Would you say that was one of the keys that helped these young men out to be able to kind of narrow down the playing field? You're talking the second largest man-made reservoir in the entire U.S. Is that
right?
Would they say, if we had them on, that was a big key for them?
Yeah, I think so. And, also just navigating the lake. The boat lanes are marked great, but, even with it was about 4 feet down. And when you've got, the buoy system and the wind, those are going to shift a little bit. So they heard tons of guys talking about using their charts to navigate the lake. And it was classic, really pre-spawn, maybe not quite pre-spawn because it's been so cold, but those fish were definitely wanting to do it, to get in that stage, especially with the moon where it is now.
Well, it shows the diversity of these anglers. When you got schools from you would think the locals had an advantage. University of Louisiana Monroe was second with Tyler Craig, Spencer Lambert. Third was University of Alabama. Fourth was Arkansas Tech. Fifth was University of Wisconsin. Sixth was Sam Houston State. UL Monroe was 7th. Missouri State was 8th. Louisiana Tech was 9th. And Bethel University. Now, Hank, correct me if I'm wrong. Bethel University, are they the only ones giving scholarships for bass fishing right now?
No, there's actually, believe it or not, about 15 schools out there that are doing it. We had a few universities there. McKendree University, another they're in Southern Illinois. They're doing one. They fielded a large portion or large group of teams there. Dallas Baptist in Dallas. I'm trying to think of who was at our tournament, who are offering scholarships. Dallas Baptist was there. They're offering scholarships. Central Alabama, and they're here, obviously in Alabama, but they're offering scholarships. Yeah, there's a good chunk of them, and then more being added daily. It's pretty cool to see that.
What's next on the tour?
Well, so we have coming up, we've got the Classic, the Geico Classic, and then we'll have, at that event, we have a little small exhibition tournament where we take the top 2 teams from all of our regionals and we field them in there, and they'll go fish kiwi and they get to weigh in on the big stage. So, small event there. But as far as the college series, the next stop is late April on Pickwick. And I'm telling you, Toledo Bend fished awesome, and Pickwick's probably going to pump out the same kind of numbers late April on that lake. It ought to be the fishing cliche, a slugfest. We'll see, but I'm excited about that one. And our high school deal, our next stop's Lay Lake, and the week after the Classic here in March. So that'll be a great event also.
What kind of turnout for that are you expecting?
Well, that's funny you asked. So we have a cap now on our high school field.
Isn't that crazy? You got to cap it?
Boats.
That's awesome that you have to cap it.
Wow.
And we're capping it at 350. So think about that. So,
Oh, my gosh.
And we'll hit it. We'll be at it. We were pre-registered last year for the Southern. This is the Southern Open. Last year we were pre-registered at 410 boats. We had some bad weather come through, and we lost about 50 boats, fished 347. But
wow.
We'll be right at 350 for that one.
That's insane. That is so cool. That all that is a shot of adrenaline for the future BASS anglers.
Yeah.
And I just love being on the front lines of it all and seeing it and trying to help train these anglers so when they do get to have to mind the rules from trip welding, they're at least in a little bit of shape, know how to handle the rules when they get to that level.
Know how to take that butt chewing on stage in front of everybody, huh?
Exactly.
Hey, Hank, thank you so much, and continued good luck on this, and to you and your dad for all those years of hard work and dedication, making what our sport is today.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Love coming on, and I'm sure we'll be talking next year. We sure do love going to Toledo Bend, and we can talk about how successful it was again. It's definitely a fun stop, and
we'll talk before then.
Bucket.
Yeah, we'll talk before then.
Thank you, brother.
Y'all take care. See you.
The BASS College Series Tournament Director, Hank Weldon. And here in just a minute, we're getting a Toledo Bend report. If you've been dying to go, he's the man. Toledo Bend guide, V&M Pro, Daryl Gleason. That's next. Hooking up and tracking down. 11:30, the Tiger.
If you're just tuning us in and missed a portion of today's show, don't worry. You can tune in Saturday mornings from 6 to 8 right here on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Bass Cash Bash, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend, and Natchitoches Ford, where the 2018s have hit the ground and are ready to move. So make that short drive to the oldest dealer in the Louisiana Purchase, Natchitoches Ford. Once again, here's Gary, Steve, and Mike.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Gary McCoy, along with the Ranger Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff and the old mud hen Mike Eccles. And, of course, thank you, little Jay. My wife better be listening and writing these down, Watley.
Yeah. No, please, no.
Tips on how women of the 50s looked after their husbands who hunted or fished. Today's women could still learn a lot from this. Tips 7 and 8. Number 7, make him comfortable. The minute he walks in from a hard day of hunting, have him lean back in a comfortable chair or suggest that he go lay down in the bedroom. Have a cool or a warm drink ready for him, whichever he wants. Arrange his pillow and offer to take off his boots. Speak in a low, soft, and soothing, sexy voice. This will allow him to relax and unwind while getting his hopes up. Hey, you never know. She might get lucky. Listen to him all day long. He has been at the camp talking to a bunch of irresponsible buddies who have done nothing but complain about how much they hate their wives. He treasures you and wants you to hear just how much he appreciates all that you do for him and how he is the luckiest man on earth to have a wife like you.
Well said, Gary.
God,
well said.
Did
you write that,
That's
Gary?
straight out of Genesis, baby.
Okay, here we got Daryl Gleason, the Foster Fence Pro and South Toledo Bend guide. Daryl Gleason. Daryl, I don't have to tell you, you obviously know how tough the fishing's been because me and you have been fishing the same body of water for the last month. But Toledo Bend, what's going on there? And, again, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you, buddy.
Oh, no, man. Always fun to be on with you guys. Toledo Bend and really kind of all the local lakes are being a little bit stingy right now with all this winter weather we're having and all that. They're kind of fishing a little tough.
Now, are you having to stay out deep, or are you pretty much in between? Where's a good place to start looking for fish right now?
Right now, it's been a little hodgepodge, but I have honestly found for myself the catchable fish for me have been a little bit easier shallow. Now, we're not catching tons of fish, but we're out here today actually on the lake, and we're power pole down right now hiding out of the wind. It's blowing about 25, so it's kind of hard to be on the main lake, but we had just a fair morning, caught 6 or 7 fish, but they're just a little bit better quality fish I'm finding are shallow. So if I was fishing the tournament here this weekend, which is hard for me to admit because I'd rather be out there off the bank deep, but I'm doing a little bit better shallow this year.
You know what? You bring up a really good point there, Daryl, in that you qualified those as catchable fish. There could be a number of fish that are out there 15, 25 feet, and they're stacked up like cordwood, but for some reason they won't bite.
Yeah.
And so that's what you've got to find is those catchable fish. Now, those shallow water fish could turn off, and the deep water fish turn back on. And at what water temperature do you start looking for those staging fish that are trying to wait on the full moon and move up?
Typically, I look for that little trend we always get every spring when it starts to warm some. And if it's, actually 2 weeks ago I caught fish in 41-degree water, and I actually caught those fish on a lipless crankbait shallow. To me, those fish are up there kind of waiting. They're just kind of in that waiting mode, and that's really extreme cold water for us. But typically, you're looking for when it starts warming up. So like today, the water's around 51 degrees, but it's been that way now for a week or two, and I feel like now's the time. As long as the water doesn't dip back down in the low 40s, now's the time the fish are trying to stage up. And you guys know when you catch fish this time of year, you can kind of tell what's going on. And the ones we're catching are real fat and healthy, and you can tell it's on their mind. They're just waiting for this water to warm up just a little bit more. And I would say probably about 56, 57 degrees would be about the time I would really start looking for them to do the deed.
Well, Daryl, when you typically in February, we're going to have a spell where 2 to 3 nights our air temperature does not get below 50.
Mm-hmm.
And that just really seems to set things off in February when you have those 3 warm nights, and we're going to have that sometime during February. Do you see that? Is that something you wait on?
Oh, absolutely. And something I'm already noticing now is the daylight's lasting a little bit longer. It seems like 2 weeks ago at 5:30 it was dark, and now it's around 6:30 or so. So you take a day like today, the air temperature isn't extremely warm out here or anything, but the sun is up nice and bright, no clouds, and the water warmed up 2 degrees just in a couple hours on us.
Now, Daryl.
So when that starts happening, and then you also have the nighttime temperatures not dipping too low. Yeah, you're right. It'll happen in a hurry for us and warm right up perfect.
Now, Daryl, the number one technique at Sam Rayburn for the last couple of weeks has been the Carolina rig. Are you finding that to be true at Toledo Bend as well?
Yeah. Honestly, the guys in a lot of the tournament stuff, like Texas Team Trail here a couple of weeks ago, I believe most of those big stringers were caught deep. To me, what I find every time we have a tough winter like this, the deep holes aren't as plentiful. So the guys catching them are catching a lot of fish, and there's a lot of us guys scratching our heads. So the Carolina rig is very good when it's tough like this. It's just a matter of finding those key holes these guys are focusing on.
Daryl, you've been a guide for a number of years now, and when it comes to that different assortment of the clientele that you've had over the years, What's the most intimidating thing to them about Toledo Bend? The biggest mistake they made if they didn't get in the boat with Daryl Gleason?
Well, just as far as the intimidating parts, the size and the reputation for the timber and those type of things. A lot of folks are, a little scared to run around and things like that, and the size of the lake. And then, like today, the wind's pretty brutal. But if I'm just trying to coach someone along, give them some tips, I honestly just each one of these big creeks on this lake are like small lakes. And if you're coming here for the first time, you just need to kind of pick you a section or two and walk them over. Look shallow, look deep, and kind of break those creeks down. And typically, you're going to find a group of fish in each creek. Like right now, we're sitting in San Miguel, and San Miguel is, half the size of some of the lakes people are familiar with. So that's the biggest tip I give people: is don't be intimidated by the size of it. Just pick your poison, north, south, east, or west, and just really work the area over real good before you go running 25 miles to another creek.
Good point.
Daryl, you said a while ago that you caught fish in 41-degree water temperature, and you called them shallow. Now, shallow is a relative term for some anglers and some guides. So
yeah.
How deep were those fish that you caught at 41-degree water temperature, and what do you say catchable fish in shallow water? If somebody's coming down there this weekend, how shallow is that?
It depends on which end of the lake you're on. Up north, it can be 2 foot, but the fish I've been targeting have been kind of in that 5 to 8 foot grass edge area. And the reason I call them catchable, I just think that those fish are easier to get to react to a bait. And part of that is just because the depth they're in, we have more techniques and options at our disposal. So I'm catching some on a chatterbait style bait, and then I'm throwing lipless baits. The hot one down here has been that 6-cent stud. And then also spinnerbaits, things like that. But I just find that you have more options in 5 to 8 foot than you do when you get out to 25 or 30. There's just a few techniques you can throw, and if they're not willing to run down your jig or run down your crankbait, to me it's a little hard to get them to bite. Where the shallow fish, if you rip that bait out of the grass just right, they'll react to it and you can catch them.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're in San Miguel, because that means you're north of the bridge. I just got to ask you, how far north can you find hydrilla this year? Because I know there were some there at 1215. Is there any north of 1215?
Well, I think you saying there's grass at 1215 is just an ugly rumor. I don't think that's true. I don't believe that.
I didn't see it at all myself.
No, me either.
Yeah.
No, there is some grass up there a little bit, but that severe cold weather, they really did shove the grass back. Most of it's real shallow. I've heard people say as far up as San Patricio, there's a little grass.
Really?
But I hadn't been up. Yeah, I don't frequent north that much myself. On the south end, it's real strong in Howden, 6 Mile, and even Mill Creek's got it real good.
What about the crappie bite? Is any crappie bite going on? I know Sibley Lake and Natchez are just freaking on fire. Oh, my gosh. There's 14 boats a day out there in the middle. What's going on in Toledo with the crappie?
Well, I've heard some rumors of the chicken coop producing a little bit this year, if you can get out there when the wind's not blowing. Right. I have heard some guys catching, I heard the numbers are a little down in past years, but they're catching really big ones. And I actually watched the guys this morning catching them shallow around the grass and maybe 5 or 6 foot, throwing like a beetle spin type bait. And we even caught one on a lipless crankbait bait this morning. It was hard for me to release that one, but knowing it was the only one I was going to catch, But if my wife found out I threw that thing back and I caught 5 or 6 more like it, I'd probably be in trouble.
We're not going to. Well, she was paying attention to those tips we were giving.
Yeah. Make sure she reviews all those tips.
Yeah. That will help her, because her job is to make you a comfortable husband.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Don't let these guys
I heard that when I come on. I thought for a second I was on the wrong radio show when I heard that stuff.
Toledo Bend guy Daryl Gleason. Now listen, if somebody is wanting to book a trip with you, and I mean we're talking about, for 2 years running was the #1 bass fishery in the entire free world.
Yeah.
How do they get in the boat with Daryl Gleason?
Well, they can find me on all the social media stuff at Daryl Gleason South Toledo Bend Guide Service on Facebook, and then I'm also on Instagram. But the easiest way is gleasonfishing@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email, and I usually respond back before the day's over with.
Thank you, brother, and we're going to make sure that you keep us posted this year. You're going to take us all the way through.
Yeah, and for the next 4 months, Daryl's going to be on with us every other week to give us a Toledo Bend report and maybe some Sam Rayburn stuff as well.
Yeah. Just let me know, because I'm going back and forth to Rayburn quite a bit. I got a bunch of tournaments over there, so looking forward to being back on you guys.
All Graph wants is waypoints.
Yeah, I want GPS coordinates.
Yeah, that's all he wants.
He knows what I want.
When I get on the phone with Graph, I know the lie at least a little bit.
Hey, don't worry, Daryl. He can't catch him.
That is true for that.
Daryl, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks, brother.
Okay, buddy. Y'all be good. Thank you so much. Bye.
All
right, man.
Check him out, GleasonFishing@gmail.com. Shoot him an email and try to get in the boat. You know, if you want to learn something about the south end of the lake, I'm telling you, it's a different world if you're one of us old guys that always stopped at the bridge.
Exactly. And I will say this. He is a great Lowrance teacher.
Oh, wow.
I got in the boat with him this past winter.
Yeah.
And for a full day. And he educated me tremendously about electronics.
That's awesome.
And how to use them.
Okay, we got to wrap things up here in just a few. Sit tight. We've got a few announcements for you. That's next. Hook it up, track it down. 11:30. The Tiger.
The Hook It Up and Tracking Down Show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Sproul Lures, K2 Coolers, and Gabagatsu Hooks, the hooks that put fish in the boat and anglers in the winner's circle. One more time, here's Gary McCoy, Steve Graff, and the Mudhead himself, Mike Eccles.
Here's your K2 Coolers best times to fish or hunt. There's still some hunting season going on.
As long as your wife's home and got the vacuuming done and the kids shut up when you get there.
Dishwasher turned off.
Yeah.
Best time to hunt and fish is when she hasn't listened to this show. This weekend is rated as excellent on Friday, very good on Saturday and Sunday. Cooler temps return to the Arklatex with highs in the 50s, lows dropping into the 30s by Sunday. There's a 70% chance of rain on Saturday, so boss fishermen, take your rain suit. We're coming off of a full moon, and it will be on the decrease from 97 to 85%. Best times is mid-afternoon. Friday, 12:58 to 3:58 p.m. Sunrise 7:04, sunset 5:47. Saturday, best times to fish 1:51 to 4:51 p.m. Sunrise at 7:04, sunset 5:48. Sunday, 2:41 to 5:41 p.m. Sunrise 7:03, sunset 5:49. This has been your K2 Coolers best times to fish.
And here's the final tip. That the women...
If you hadn't already put the last nail in your coffin, here's one final opportunity.
Yeah, this is a death nail, so to speak.
Ladies, listen up close now. This is how the women of the 1950s treated that golden Adonis that they married.
Exactly.
And you could benefit from the relationship. You're always wanting him to be more involved in your marriage.
Yeah.
You have to take the first step.
If you want him to perform and get the most out of your man,
That's right.
this is what you need to do. This is the last one. Tip number 9. Make the evening all about him. Don't complain if he does not take you out for dinner, since he's exhausted from a hard day in the woods or on the water.
Yes.
Try to entertain yourself while he eats his dinner and takes a long nap.
Yes.
Try to understand the strain and pressure that goes with hunting and fishing all day.
Oh, preach it.
Now he needs his time.
Amen.
His time. I hope this is a wake-up call for all the women out there who have husbands that hunt or fish. God bless each of you, and may the outdoorsman in your life get the treatment he deserves.
Oh, and we just got a text a minute ago from Carla Nesbitt.
She's on board with this, I think.
Bellevue, yes, she is.
Oh, I know
you ought to
she
see
is.
the way that woman treats Chris.
I know. Ain't no
Chris
doubt.
and Carla at Bellevue Meat Processing, tomorrow is the start. If you've been holding those quartered deer,
Yes.
because they offered you a 15% discount if you would hold that until February the 1st, tomorrow you start taking those in. They will offer 15% discount of all of those the deer processing for the month of February. So don't wait until March 1st. You got February 1 to February 28th. Take it to Bellevue. They'll take care of everything, knock 15% off the bill because you were able to help. It was a record year for them this year.
Yeah.
And if you are one of those people, it's a really great time for you to be able to do that. Okay, we're going to Black Lake this weekend.
Black Lake Campty, the first boss tournament. Looking for between 80 and 100 teams, maybe more than 100. Getting a lot of calls from people that have never fished before.
Right.
So you can sign up at Bayou Outdoors.
Can you sign up morning of the tournament?
Yes, you can. You can sign up down there. I'll be down there Friday evening about 3 o'clock. You
At
can sign up.
Chandler's?
There's a $10 late fee if you sign up after Thursday night.
Okay, now question.
Okay.
Will you be weighing in on the north side of the bridge or on the south side of the
I've
bridge?
never weighed in on the north side. It's always been on the south side,
Okay.
Chandler's side. Yeah.
Okay.
Mike, I got a question for you. With all the high school fishing that's going on now and even the college series, do you find your circuit getting younger?
We're getting some of the college guys,
Yes.
and we're having a few. But the high school league in our area has a lot of tournaments in their circuit.
Right.
And
A lot
they've
of
grown really
Yeah,
really
they've
big.
grown a lot, and
So they got plenty to fish.
yes, and they're just like anything else. There's some of them do not want to fish every weekend.
Right,
Well, they've
Yeah.
got just the kids, young adults. They've got
Right.
a lot going on.
Yeah.
And they can't afford it. Not everybody can afford that.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
That's a good reason. It's not very expensive.
Okay, give me a couple of things on this for anybody that might not be familiar with the boss tournaments and stuff like that. As far it is a trailer tournament. Give me an idea. Would you, if you were fishing this tournament, would you launch on the Chandler side, or would you launch on the north side of the bridge to avoid all of the when you're coming back in, all the weigh-in activities and stuff like that? Which one would you do?
It's not going to matter. They're going to divide up between north side, Black Lake Lodge side, Chandler side, and then West Wind over there. They're going to divide up. If you can launch it on the Chandler side, then everybody please pay for your launch.
Amen.
Pay for your launch.
Yeah. It's $3. Come
Then
on.
Exactly.
you're right there for the weigh-in site, but you can come to the weigh-in by trailer or by boat, either way.
Yeah.
But you have to be checked in the weigh-in line by 3:30. That's where you get your bag. So don't wait till the last second and come in late.
What's our start fishing time?
I have not looked it up, but it will be on the website tonight under the newsletter.
Okay.
It'll be 30 minutes for legal sunrise, and I was looking it up today, and my phone rang, and I forgot to go back and look it up. But it will be on.
That was Charlotte asking you if she wanted you to stop. If you wanted her to stop vacuuming, was that what it was?
Yeah. She stopped vacuuming about 30 years ago.
All right, here's this week's final word. Being a bass tournament director is a tough job, and not just anyone can do it. One thing anglers must understand is that tournament directors, first and foremost, are concerned about anglers' safety. The directors nor the organizations they represent want to see anyone put in harm's way during any event. But inevitably, there are a handful of anglers in any circuit that will complain and question why a director decided to cancel an event. You have to understand that the director and the circuit have a lot more at stake. I, for one, admire these guys, the directors, because no matter what they decide, someone just has to complain. For Mike Eccles, Gary McCoy, Jay Wally, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for more hooking up and tracking down here on 1130 The Tiger.